Joining me on this conversation alongside my co-founder, Astha Agnihotri, also our
Hello.
COO, Janvi A, our director,
Hi.
and our special guest, Ruchika Jain.
Hello, everyone.
Ruchika brings deep experience from some of the most demanding corporate environments and invaluable perspective on how this role is evolving at the highest level. Ruchika, we thank you for joining us today and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much to Leadence and for hosting me here today. And I'm really privileged and grateful to all of you here. And happy International Women's Day to each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. So to
Thank
begin this
you.
conversation, today the Women's Day theme is Give to Gain, and it feels deeply connected to the EA profession. So could you give our audience a snapshot of your professional life, your journey, that what are some of the biggest unspoken challenges that EA still face in today's time in top tier environments, and how has AI started changing the day-to-day life of an EA?
Perfect. Happy to answer that. So I have been, collectively in this role from past 18 years plus, and I have worked with, very demanding environments like, financial institute, homegrown e-commerce companies, to ad agency, to tech giants. And what I've seen is EA's, the biggest pain point is always the invisible emotional labor, where the EAs have the big picture, but they don't have anybody to brief with. So that's in my perspective is the biggest challenge that any EA at any level does face. And coming to the AI part of it, I would say like AI has been really a game changer, and it will continue to do so. And the best is the earlier we leverage it, the better. And how it has shaped, the day-to-day requirement is more towards moving the logistical support into orchestration, and also like filtering the data, making high-level decisions. So it has speeded us on those lines, right? So yeah, that's that.
Good. Thank you so much. So my next question to you is that in my experience as well, I've seen that most of the time people ended up being an EA by chance and not by choice. And why do you think that this career is by chance and not that aspirational, for people to come and join it intentionally? So where do you see this gap in the system?
So it is an interesting topic, and I think it's a very nuanced one. What I see historically, this EAs have been always known as a support role, more of a secretarial role versus a strategic partner, which is where the biggest gap comes in. And there is, I think, it will take some time to transition from that to the modern, EA culture of it. Um, Further going deeper into this whole scenario, I think there are four categories that I can, talk about, which kind of, levels up to why this gap. One is the branding glitch, that is, support versus strategy. So EAs historically has been known for support roles rather than strategic partner, which is, I think, comes from the traditional, connections and how the secretarial troop has been influenced, right?
Yeah.
The second one is about the educational void, because this is the biggest one, because most of the EAs does not have a very academic pipeline to leverage, and come into this role as a choice rather than a kind of coincidence. The third one, which I will talk about, is the cultural conditioning trap. And I would just want to touch upon this particular factor that though the males still survive and they look at this role as any other role who are into ABP role, versus the women's, because traditionally, culturally, women's are known for balancing the household chaos, and as well as anticipating the need of the household members or anybody around them, which are the core and the master skills for A, right? When this happens, they themselves don't consider uh, you know the EA role as valuable. They will stay put in the role, but they won't take this as a professional outcome or the best support that they're providing. Rather, it just comes naturally to them. So they don't see the professional growth there.
Hmm.
That limits that. And the last piece that I would say is like the invisible partner paradox, which is about there's a shift from accidental to aspirational role. This can happen only when we start to think EA role in terms of return on investment, where when a person supports the other women, for example, and sees the other women making board level decisions, and and this other person, the EA on the other side, is saving time, which is the most precious asset for any corporate level. I think that's when the ROI come in picture. You're not just doing the mundane logistical task, but you are trying to improvise on saving something more precious.
Yeah,
So
I
that's my
mean,
take.
definitely, I totally agree with you. Like, it's all about the perception, and that perception needs to change with the ever evolving time. Asta, I mean, what are your thoughts on this from L&D perspective?
Thank you, Geetika and Ruchika, for your perspective and your experience which you have shared with us. So, I mean, when it comes to L&D, learning and development perspective, I would say um, there is a lack of proper structured trading process, because there's a lack of career progression process, and there's a lack of capability building models. So these are three pillars which actually help for to provide any kind of support to any career level for that matter. So if when it comes to executive assistant profile, we really lack in the progression ladder, because if you see most of the time EA have either kind of I mean, you touch base on the by chance point. So basically, let's say if somebody is good in coordination, they are put into calendar management. If somebody is good in event management or organizing, then they are kind of put in this role. So basically, it shouldn't be by chance. It should be through a proper channel, like building capabilities and strategic professional development skills, like let's make a strategic business partner in the capacity of EA. So coming back to my point, like there has to be proper training design process, there has to be a proper progression ladder, there has to be a capability building model, which actually will make this role more aspirational rather than coming into this by chance.
Mm.
Thank you, Asta, for beautifully putting this point, and thanks, Ruchi. So, coming back to you on this, another question. I've seen that leaders do not see EA as a strategic partner, and that is also one of the biggest hurdle that we have. And when they see EA only as an operational support, how does that mindset like not only limit EAs but leaders themselves and the organization as a whole?
Beautiful question. And I would just first want to call it out that I've been very lucky and privileged in this arena, because I found the most of my leaders around really supportive. But I do see some of the cases where this exists, and I would maybe want to start with EA. So the moment EA is kind of limited to the logistical support only or taskmaster, the intellectual is locked there. The support gets limited to only inbox, and then the partnership kind of breaks there itself. Now coming to the leader themselves, whoever is hiring a ABP but not kind of catalyzing their own growth by taking this support from the partner in a very strategic way, they are first of all, I think, doing all the work by themselves. The whys, like not the what any which ways they are putting a ABP to support the what's, like what has to be done in the org, this that, but why it has to be done, that is not being addressed, that's not been discussed with the ABP. The more that happens, the better the landing of vision happens,
Hmm.
and that's where the organization kind of grows. The last piece I would want to say is like from the organization perspective also, if you see EAs always come at the intersection of micro teams, and they always have the visibility of where the culture is breaking, where something which should not go to the board meeting can be fixed beforehand. So the first level of the cautionary touch point. So
Hmm.
if the organization is not very savvy in growing or partnering with the ABP at the strategic level, maybe they are getting blind spotted by this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
And I just love the way how you have put it, what and why concept. And it is very important because most of the time, know what they have to do, but what they do not know why they are doing it. And to give them that why, you are not only being inclusive in your problem statement, and it will also equip EA to, do their job better and lead it from the front and not just, supporting it. So on this, I would also like to know HR perspective. So Janvi, you have been in HR from quite some time, and I would like to understand your viewpoint. That do you think that if EA gets a clear roadmap, career roadmap, and right kind of mentorship support, it can really be that impactful role in the system?
Yeah, thank you for this question, Gitika. Welcome, Ruchika and Asta. It's nice to have you. Happy Women's Day to all of you. And coming back to your question, Gitika, absolutely. From the HR perspective, providing EAs with a clear career roadmap, structured training, and dedicated mentorship is one of the smartest investment I think an organization can make. And also now in the recent times, HR leaders have increasingly started viewing it as a high ROI, like mentioned by Ruchika earlier, the ROI is all based on talent strategy because it actually addresses a lot of several HR core priorities. Just to name a few, I'll tell you, they can actually co-owner employing, let it be onboarding, let it be orientation, talent retention for that matter, employee engagement, support in town halls, co-owner of functional projects and initiatives for that matter. Another aspect that I feel that if I could say that, I would say is that ears are the eyes and ears that already exist in the organization. They know the ground realities of what exactly transpires on the floor in the organization. Not only do they know, but they also know how to overcome, modify, rebuild, and also bridge gaps, which can actually turn out to be a boon for the HR in one way or the others.
Hmm.
And also, now that saying that, I also feel that, EAs can actually prove to be HR's secret weapon. Exactly the strategic partners HR has been trying to build. So, to your question, I think they are a boon with the right roadmap, training, and mentorship.
That's
They
beautifully
can.
answered, Janvi. Thank you for adding your perspective here. And so I'll move to Astha, and I would like to ask this question to Astha that from L&D perspective, like we are talking about, making EAs a strategic role. So for EAs to operate strategically, what are the capabilities that you think that they should start building, and how EAStudio by Leadence can help bridge the gap?
Uh, Thanks for the lovely question, Kritika. So what I think is that like other roles, for example, HR, L&D, finance, there are structure courses which are available for them to do. But when it comes to EA, I think there's a lack of expectations and the availability of the tools. So for example, we have SHRM, we have L&D courses, certifications, project management courses available for each set of roles. But when it comes to EA, they don't really have anything designed for them to make to build them and to build their career, or it could be a career, it could be their personality. So basically they need little more strategic support, because the kind of expectations from them is it's very different. It is treated as an operational role, but it is actually a strategic role, because you are actually helping as an assistant somebody who's at CXO level, and they, the kind of mindset, the kind of expectations they have, there's a I mean, there's a kind of gap which appears from top to bottom. So to bring them to kind of build their operational skill set, we need to build their strategic role. We need to build their strategic capability as well. So for that, I think, coming back to our EAStudio, the way it is designed, it is basically a combination of each and every skill which an EA needs. It could be tools, it could be operational tools, it could be strategic business acumen development, AI tools. So I mean, it is a it's a beautiful combination and mix of all kind of training, which is specifically designed for EAs.
Yeah, I absolutely, concur with that. Uh, so one more question to you, Astha, is that, in any organization today, other than EA also, EA trying to build the capability in addition to that, do you think that organization should also step in and empower the EA and help them unlock their potential? If they will be provided a right career roadmap and right structured programs, do you think that that will also help and encourage the EAs to come forward and start building their capabilities?
Yeah, I mean, I really agree to this point. First of all, EA are in the segment of support function, so they also need support. So if somebody in the department, it could be their manager, it could be HR, it could be any other department. So if they provide support, if they provide some kind of clear career ladder, a kind of customized program for them, they will eventually kind of reach to a certain point which actually help them to understand their role much better and to develop their more strategic business acumen. And again, I mean, if anybody is provided with any kind of support, it actually helps them to build themselves much better. So I totally agree with this point.
Thank you so much. That's a very valuable point, and especially for our leaders and HR listening to this, please do take a mental note on this. Ruchi, coming to you, see, we all know that in today's time, there is a huge absence of structured mentorship for EAs. So I want to understand and I want to know that how mentorship or the lack of it has shaped up your career growth, and how can organizations formalize it better through HR and L&D? From EA perspective, how do you think they should be doing it?
Perfect. I think I've been in both situations, personally speaking. So where the lack of mentorship or unawareness of that, something of that sort exists, because again, coming back from the historic background that s- most of us land into this by accident, right?
Hmm.
So when we start to navigate your path, and this becomes more of a discovery rather than a decided path or a destination to reach at, and which is where I think to amplify that growth path, like even to know what you don't know, mentorship plays a very important role. And if topped by a very strategic learning, I think this will bring the confidence which people miss out on. Confidence to navigate the scaling up of that level. Like for example, if somebody is not given the power to influence or the authority by title, and they're just made to say no to a VP by maybe calendar request or anything, and if they're not authorized there by title, they just can't support that, right? So
Yeah.
when there is a structural training around this, I'm very sure that people come with that inbuilt confidence that they can navigate or they can create pathways, not just for themselves, but they can, I think, lead the whole community together. So with regards to how L&D can support, one, I see personally there's a huge gap where the delta is between strategic thinking and also understanding the C level language, the C suite language, like P&L, what is P&L, what is OKRs, what is the market trends and stuff like that, right? There's a huge gap. But if somebody comes from a background where they're taught about this thing, they feel more confident to be in that place, in that scenario. And the second thing is about the AI gap, right? Where most of the EAs, what maybe I would have observed is either they are more invested in just in enhancing the speed of deliverables, but not synthesizing the matter, like, to take decisions, to empower decisions, to proactively foresee certain gaps, right? So this is another thing that a fostered L&D can come and enable another EA, budding EA. And the last one is about influencing the authority, which I already covered in my previous example. So I think both all put together really makes it a very short, confident EA partner. Yeah,
Absolutely,
thank you.
yeah. I mean, that's actually very true. Leading to the next question, from there, I would like to ask that it has been seen commonly that sometimes proximity to leaders make is extremely comfortable, and it can limit or how it can limit the growth for EAs, and what mindset shift is required to move from managing the task and truly enabling the leadership. And this question I would like to ask to all three of you.
Okay, I don't mind going first.
Yes, please.
Ask Janvi. Yeah, okay.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. So why I'm jumping in here is, like, there's always this, breaks that I believe in, just to pause and reflect at your own journey, and also what goodness you're leaving, because it's not just about the title or the role, but it's the whole community behind you. You are being setting an example, right? So because by the nature of this role, we tend to know a lot of details about the person we are supporting, their temperaments, the way they work, the kind of vision they carry, and stuff like that, the energy that they bring, right? Or the lack of it at times. But this also makes it very casual for us over a long period of time. But I think when we take a pause, we reflect at the journey that we are on. Like, there is always a starting and end to every journey,
Mhm.
and I think we should always have that picture in the forefront, to keep us honest and to keep us detached, but at the same time very much, what do you call, dedicated and devoted to that role and capabilities that you're bringing on the table. And that's what I would say, like, we should always stick to. Did that answer that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, beautifully put. Uh, Janvi, you would like to go next or ask?
Sure, I'll go ahead. So, what I feel is, yes, there is once I feel a few factors that make one very comfortable in their role would be like they get this emotional safety where you anticipate every need so well of your leader that it rarely the leader rarely faces any friction. So that enables you to, you're in your comfort zone, you're not stretching yourself. Then there is other kinds of relationship dependency where you are valued to your leader and maybe one or two, and then your visibility does not outshine. You're only restricted to the your own leaders and not being visible to other leaders as such. So nobody knows your potential, and you're also very comfortable in your safe zone. Also, I feel the old mindset, what was I think as a by going by the books, it was like, am I doing my job? Am I keeping my leaders calendar all set? Is it not overlapping? But now I think the new mindset is all about my job for my executive, not only my executive, but for the business. So the practice has changed, it's evolving, I would rather say, where you're not thinking for your leader, but you're also thinking for the business. They also like, how can I help you, for that matter? Today, what can I do for you? But instead now, if they look at the question in another way and say, ask your boss or ask your leader, what are the few challenges that we are facing and what are your short-term goals in 30 days or 60 days. So in that way, the EA is evolving from just a desk job and administrative job to a strategic partner, where now you're looking at QARs, and you're also looking just beyond the to-do list. So I think what is important is shift of the mindset from what needs to be done to how can I add to the business.
Well, I
So
would like to add to this point. As the role is evolving, the most key point, and I feel that the pertinent point is to have that self-realization that it is about their own career and capabilities, and
absolutely.
they have been so far in the shadow of leaders, and they start believing that shadow is them, and that's
Hmm.
where you need to break the ceiling because you have already hit it with the AI wave. So, on that,
Yeah.
Asta, I would like to know your viewpoint on this.
Um, I am slightly onboarded with all of your opinions, but I do have a kind of a different perspective as well, because it acts like a kind of proximity to the leadership acts like a double-edged sword, where you think that you are in the comfort zone, and you are kind of safe, protected, but again you need to match up with their level of thinking as well. Like, you cannot be simply operational, you need to think from their point of view as well. Because if you are in the proximity of a leader who is at CXO level, their expectations might be slightly or very much higher if you are actually supporting them directly, and if you are under the umbrella. So you cannot be just following the standard process. If he has asked you to manage his calendar, to manage his travel arrangements, you need to think from a different angle altogether, like why you have been asked or kind of tasked to do that. You cannot just follow his instruction. You will be given a task, you need to have that kind of business acumen to understand the prioritization, the reasoning, and the reality of getting it done wrong, kind of incorrectly, what could be the impact of it. So again, coming back to the same question, like, you think that you are in your comfort zone, you are protected, but actually you are in a zone where you need to upscale, you need to build yourselves to reach that level of thinking.
Absolutely. That's a very different and very truthful point being highlighted, because that is something that many people miss it, when they look at this role. And not only for the EAs, even people who are looking at it, they just think, oh, they are, closer to the leader. So,
Yeah.
they are having a happy time. That is not it. There's a lot going on and a lot of effort that needs to go on and keep evolving in this direction. So my next question is for Ruchika and for Astha again, is that so looking ahead from where we are today, what skills do you think a future EA should have? And do you think that our organization is ready to reward those skills if they build their capabilities?
Astha, you can go.
Yes.
uh okay. So basically, again, it's a hand in hand kind of process. We cannot put everything on E's plate and say, you are the one who should be taking initiative. The HR, the LND, the leadership, it's kind of it's a collective, there should be a collective approach. So, coming back to the question, there are a lot of skills these days. For example, like, most important is AI, developing your AI skills. It could be from a very start or basic level. You should then be kind of mastered in it, but at the same time, you should know how you can actually streamline the processes, how you can actually streamline your own work using these AI skills. Also, again, like, I have been focusing on this point of developing strategic and business acumen, because there's a point you need to upskill, you need to come out of that bubble of being an operational role. It is not an operational role anymore, it is a strategic role, and you have to change your mindset, you have to change your way of thinking to reach that level of understanding that where exactly this role is going. So I mean, again, when it from L&D perspective, I would say there's a lot which needs to be done. Like, there has to be proper career level, there has to be proper training designed specifically for EA, not a generalized training plan. And even there is a need of proper certification, which actually helps them, which is designed only for EA, not only like for project management, for HR, or for L&D. There has to be some specific EA specific program. That's why we are here, EAStudio. And it will not happen overnight. It will happen gradually. And I think we are here to support in this journey of evolution.
Absolutely. It requires the whole ecosystem to work together to
Yeah.
reach there. So, Ruchika, your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Firstly, I just want to, plus one to Asta, I think very well put on the key, shift that will bring, what is coming. So I also want to add that there's a big, big boom in terms of, more or less, I think EAs will evolve as chief of intelligence, like, with AI coming in picture. So there's a lot of, that shift will happen. The ecosystems will evolve, and we all have to move with that wave, right? That's one. And the second thing is about the influence architecture. As leaders move forward or flatter, more global organizations, the EA become the social glue, right? So I think the human touch point, wherever the human capabilities are required, I think this has to be taken into consideration more along with AI, not just independently. So that's that. But one gap that I see is, I think, the pay scale gap, where EAs historically, because they are always considered the staff, support staff, they are also being limited to that growth. Versus in current scenario, I think, or going forward, the more number of hours being saved should be returned into ROI, right?
Hmm.
So that has to match, and that can also come along with, amazing, learning capabilities or whatever solutions that you guys as at Leadence are offering. I think I'm very confident that maybe, that will be the game changer with the evolving scenarios.
So, Ruchika, I really like this point where you have mentioned that as the role would grow into a strategic space, it is equally important to have an ROI for someone aspiring to be an EA or somebody who are already an EA and building those capabilities. Because, I mean, it's just like if organizations are ready to pay better, only then they will get more quality talent. Then otherwise it would remain the same thing, and we all keep can go on and on about it, and there wouldn't be that greater change. So this is something very important. Reward plays a very important role, not just in individual's career, but also for organization to use it in a right direction. So on that, Astha, my next question to you is that for those people who are already an EA and they are feeling stuck in this role, what is that one skill set or what is that one intentional step that do you think that they should take this year to make this role career by choice and not by chance?
Okay, thank you, Kitika, again for this very apt question. I mean, first of all, I mean, regardless of EA or if, for that matter, for anybody, I think you need to do self-analysis that what kind of skills you are lacking. So that's the first point of start. So you need to actually evaluate yourself. What exactly is your way of doing things? What exactly is stopping you? What is your obstacle for moving further? So I think in current days, the most important skill is to have is AI. So I think you should start building your AI capabilities, because as I said, that it will help you to streamline your own work, and that will give you more bandwidth to work on more strategic and more upskilling activities. So that is one of the skill which I would say, again, like, start with self analysis, and then second, make sure to build your AI skills. And again, I think observation is something which you need to be continuing, like you need to keep observing the changes. You need to be updated with the demand in your role, because it is actually evolving a lot. If you keep yourself stagnant, I think you will lose out on a lot of skills and opportunities. So yeah, I would just stop here and just like to conclude that the self analysis, get yourself AI upskilled, and then keep building your skill set.
That is a very pertinent point that you have brought it up, and I would like to add to this that when in EAStudio by Leadence, this is one of the starting point that we have. It's a self discovery, and we start with the self analysis where you discover. And it's not that capability is not there. We all have those capabilities. We just have to practice and ensure that it is visible to people. And more you practice and more you build a habit, because at EAStudio we also approach it from behavioral science perspective. So we believe in building habits. Okay, so on that, this is a lightning round. Just one liner answer would suffice. So this first question is for Ruchika. So one skill every EA must build in 2026.
Invest in themselves and also, look after the ecosystem of the EA fraternity.
Nice. So Asa, next question to you is that one thing leaders must start doing to build up.
Leaders should look at this role to be more strategic rather than just operational, because the kind of support which they need, it's not limited only to the operational activities. They need to help their EAs to become to develop more business acumen and become more strategic.
Absolutely. Janvi, to you. So one thing HR must rethink about this role.
Okay. I think first thing, stop treating EAs as a executive only and start looking at them as like a strategic talent partner who can contribute more to the HR itself, where they can share responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I also want to add to this, to the potential that they have, each individual has. I think HR should also like tap on that, of seeing what person, which line of interest, and try and excel them. So in that way, not only an EA will benefit, but the organization themselves will grow in leaps and bounds. So it's always a win-win situation where each one is interdependent on each other and helping each other grow and evolve in the ever-changing world of AI today.
Absolutely. And this one question I'm throwing at myself. We have been talking about what EA should be doing, what leaders and organizers should be doing. So this question is more on like what is that one thing that EA should stop doing? And I very strongly feel that stop looking at yourself as just a support, because this role today, it sits at the intersection of leadership, operations, and decision making. So it is high time that you come out of that image of yours and start unlearning and relearning the new way of working. And with that, I would also like everybody to once again welcome to EAStudio by Leadence, and I'm thrilled to officially announce the launch of our flagship offering under EAStudio by Leadence. It's called the EA Launchpad program. This is a focused high impact experience designed to accelerate your transition from exceptional support to strategic influence through advanced skill building, AI for EAs, real world projects, mentorship, and direct pathways to elevated opportunities. Applications open soon, and so I invite you to join EAStudio by Leadence through our WhatsApp community for details, early access, and how to join the first cohort. Link is in the caption, and you can also download the EA Launchpad brochure from our website, theleadence.com. Ruchika, just before we wrap this up, one last quick thought for our audience on this.
Firstly, thanks everyone here from the Leadence community that you invited me here, and congratulations on the launch here for the EAStudio. And one last piece that I would want to advise the audience here is please go out there, do not isolate yourself. I think invest in yourself. Again, I will just vouch for that more, because that has supported me in the long run, all the way. So I think definitely, and especially if it is a structured learning that somebody can invest in, why not? I think that push you leaps and bounds in the growth journey. So yeah, all the best to Leadence and the EA Studio. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. It was lovely having you, and it's an honor to, hear all your insights, and to my co-founders, Astha and Janvi. Thank you all for joining us, and let's keep this conversation going, and drop your questions and reflections or what ifs in the chat. And happy International Women's Day once again to all of you. And here's to giving boldly so we can all gain powerfully. Thank you.
Happy International Women's Day once again.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone, and hope we see you on our journey, on your journey, and we can all build something great together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.